anticlimactic. Doof. I felt like it should have gone. What's going on, my fellow gamers? Johnny 5 Live here, and I want to give my final thoughts on the Fallout 4 Automatron DLC pack. I'm going to be doing things a little bit differently now. I'm going to just give my thoughts on it and then run some footage in the background as I speak. So what do I think of this DLC so far? Well, first of all, depending on whether you got the season pass or if you bought it solely by itself, I believe it's $15 Canadian, maybe $10 American, so it's pretty cheap. Is it worth the bang for your buck? It's worth the bang for your buck in terms of more Fallout content if you're a big Fallout fan. Certainly. I think I played maybe 3 or 4 hours total. For $15, I got 3 or 4 hours worth of gameplay. I look at that as value. It's cheaper than going to the movies, you know. It's cheap. It's not that much. I can afford it. So in terms of price, it's fine. However, there's way better ways to spend $15 on Steam, or just in general. There's other things in life that can give you 3-4 hours worth of content for $15. But was it worth it for a Fallout fan? I believe that the story part itself, I mean, you go in, you do a quest, you get Ada. She was very compassionate for a robot. She had a personality. I absolutely loved Ada. I wish there was a little bit more to do with her, a little bit more side quests to have the experience with her, much like the other companions had influence and they liked it when you did certain things, and then when you did enough things you built up a relationship with them, yada yada yada. I wish they went in depth with Ada. That would have been a nice touch. It would have been well appreciated, and it would have been something to add more longevity to this current expansion. Having Ada have a personality, it would give you a reason to go out in the world and do a few more things and get some story out of her, pull more out of her. I think she was good, but the story, what she tells you to do, she tells you to go here, get this part, and then they send you to go here and here. You fight some robots along the way. You're killing robots, some interesting enemy types. I ran into a few troublesome ones that would one hit kill me on survival mode, and it was somewhat challenging at certain parts. It's very short, the DLC. The places you go and the things that you do, it's pretty standard. There was nothing that stood out. It was just another Fallout dungeon with robots in place, and that was fine. There was nothing too wrong with that. When you get to the Mechanist's lair, there's a lot of cool like doors that were opening up, a lot of functioning doors that kind of joop, 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 and they had all sorts of little neat elevators and mechanical moving wall parts and stuff like that. So they added some more assets in, which I'm excited to see modders take out and put into the settlement building stuff. Stuff leading up to the Mechanist boss fight was pretty mediocre. Like I said, killing more bosses, and as you're fighting the Mechanist, it's just wave after wave of robots, but he has these crane things at the top going across and they're dropping robots. It was a nice little touch, and you're just going ham on these things, blowing them up, and then there's a good and bad ending to the Mechanist. You can either just blow his brains out or have a talk with, actually, spoiler alert, it's a female, so you have a talk with her and you can convince her that, basically, not even convince her, just like inform her that her robots have been programmed improperly and that they must kill humans. They've been basically programmed to kill humans, and that's their reason behind helping them. It's pretty lame, to be honest. So she's like, oh my god, what have I done? And she comes to her senses. She was never really crazy beginning with. She was just building robots to help the wasteland. She had no idea they were killing everybody. Again, another kind of flat, fizzled out Bethesda story in terms of Fallout. Not that great. The fact that she was female was cool, but the fact that they used a generic settler face for her was kind of disappointing. I would have liked to see maybe some crazy white hair, some pink and blue hair, some kind of cool new hairstyle that you could get at the barber shop. That would have been appreciated. Like, oh, look at this cool, I don't know, shaved on one side, long hair, and it's pink and blue, and she's got some cool face tattoos. There's a lot of things that it could have done to make her a more cool character. The armor was very anticlimactic or lackluster. It was just a tin can on her head, but I guess it gave it that little bit of character. She puts all this time into her robots, but she doesn't put any time into her armor. It's kind of funny. It would have been cooler if she had some sort of Liberty Prime suit, like you fight her and then she's like, you think that's all I have? And then she kind of like falls out into the ground, and the ground lifts up, and she's like inside this giant Liberty Prime thing, and then you have to fight her. That would have been way more epic. Overall, doing the whole quest line, fighting the Mechanist, very underwhelming. Below average content, 100%. Not that great. But then I started enjoying it again because it's just Fallout. And then I got through the content and I was like, okay, it's okay. In fact, I probably had a little bit more fun with the Fallout game that they made, the Automatron video game, and it's like a Geometry Wars. So I'll upload that video separately. There's going to be a video up for that if you're watching this now. So I played probably 15-20 minutes on that and got to like level 50, and it just keeps repeating itself. And so I basically beat it, like mastered it. I could have just gone forever, but I had some fun with that. It was like Geometry Wars. It wasn't bad. That in itself kind of can get a review, but I literally review it while I'm playing it. I'm talking about it, I'm giving my thoughts, what could have been better, as I'm playing the mini game and going crazy on it. So not much to say there other than the Automatron minigame was actually kind of enjoyable. I heard that there was something to do with the Silver Shroud. I assume there would have been because this is kind of a nemesis kind of thing. So I think if you wear the Silver Shroud, you get some extra dialogue options. I'm not sure of that. I don't even want to test it, to be honest, because it was so underwhelming. I would hate to do it again with the Silver Shroud just to hear "Oh no, you don't, evil good doer," or whatever. That's exactly what she is. She's an evil good doer. She wanted to do good, but she's doing evil by accident. It was just a mistake. The whole thing was a mistake. So let's jump into what this actually is about. The core mechanics, the building the robots. Is that cool? Is that worth it? And all of that stuff. So my opinion on that is basically it's a lot of development time to test all these pieces and how they work together and how they function together, and then to like make sure that the art doesn't clip with this art and you put this in with that. The QA team must have gone ham on this, and they probably cut so many parts, they cut so many pieces, they probably concepted and drew and modeled more pieces than we actually got, or they had issues with some, or there's just a lot gone into it. And I know because I was a customization guy on Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare, and I had to test all the variations, and we spent like months on that crap. Here we are 6 months in, and we get that, and I can tell that they kind of started something, and they were like, we gotta finish this, we gotta go and just get it done, and they did it. Is it a nice touch to the Fallout lore and universe? It certainly is. There's always been robots in Fallout 4, and to be able to customize your own is certainly a nice touch to the current game state of the game's engine. The customizing the power armor, the customizing your own armor, the weapons, blah 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 blah. All that stuff is, it fits so well into the Fallout 4 game. So it's a very nice addition to be able to say, hey, I'm going to make my own robots, and they can also act as settlers. You can give them commands and tell them to work the guard post, and they kind of just fly around. So you can have a mix of, human settlers and robot settlers, or make just a whole robot army, robot village. And there's some pretty cool stuff. If you look at what I did, I had like a Johnny 5 Alive robot, I did like a Flying Doom robot, I did a giant construction blade robot, I did my Ada, and I did like a Queen of Blades kind of thing. So I made like 5 pretty unique robots, and I had my fun with that. But after that, I was just kind of like, meh, I'm bored of this. I'm bored of this, and it's just a matter of like this variation with this variation. Let's try every possible variation, but really it's like the guy on wheels, the big sentry bot, the Mr. Handy bot, the flying little eyeball bot, the Assaultron bot. And then you've got your bases covered. It's just variations of your 5 standard robots. And other than that, pretty boring fast. I do love my Johnny 5 Alive robot, 100%. I want more content so I can jump back into the game and explore the world with my Johnny 5 Alive robot. I like him as my new companion. I wish they could have added a cuter voice. I wish they had more voices. Like, they wish they had the Curie voice, the something more like Claptrap. That would have been great. Obviously, that's a Borderlands game, but you know what I mean. Like the quirkiness, the cuteness, the humor, Codsworth voice, and just, you know, that kind of stuff. They went for it, and they still didn't hit it out of the park. Now, for me, a Fallout fan, if I were to be playing Fallout further, if I were to get Long Harbor and the next DLC to come, which I will be, it's absolutely essential to have this. I need my Johnny Five Alive robot companion with me. I like Ada. She's a great addition to the team. And I like having all of this stuff with me and in my game. So for me, it was worth it. I would highly recommend it. If you're still in the middle of the game, if you still have a long way to go, or if you haven't started yet, it's going to be a great addition to have early on. However, a lot of the stuff that you have to craft requires a lot of the perks that you would not normally get, and it's going to require you to spend 8 to 10 points in different areas of the trees just in order to make all this stuff. So in some senses, it's a 10 perk companion. So in order to have this companion with you, it's going to cost 10 perks, and it's way more cost efficient in leveling terms just to bring Preston Garvey with you or something. So it's a nice addition to have in your game while you're playing it, but it's not really worth going out and saying, I'm going to buy this expansion pack so I have something to go back and play Fallout 4. Yes. But I did get some enjoyment out of it at the end, especially looking at all the different armors. I love that Assaultron helmet. It opens up when she's in when she's in combat. It closes. When she's out of combat, it opens up, and it looks really, really cool on my character. As far as the armor goes, I'm not a big fan of it. I didn't like the big thing on the back. I love the boots. I love the arms, and those are a great addition. However, they're not going to be very useful to me unless I can find a legendary version that has luck, perception, or some sort of bonus special point in it, or whatever you like to use in terms of legendary pieces. I'm going to need a robot version with the legendary stat of my choice. And last but not least, there's some decent weapons. I don't know if I found them all, but I got a Tesla cannon, I got like a chainsaw blade, I got like some really cool sword. I actually love the idea of the sword. It seems really cool, especially when you armor your guy up with that robot stuff and you get one of those melee mech blades with you. So you got this robot with all these saws and swords, and you got your sword, and it'd be really fun for the melee builds. And then you got an Assaultron helmet that you charge up, and then it just goes doof. It's really lame, anticlimactic. Doof. I felt like it should have gone and just like fried an area, and it gives you 50 radiation damage, and it does not seem worth it for the time spent charging it up. And then I got some Tesla cannon, and I think that's it. Overall, it's average. I had some fun. I like my Johnny Five Alive robot. I love him. I love my Doombot. I like my Ada, and I like that Queen of Blades thing that I made. The content, the missions, I just wanted more Fallout quests. I wanted people to talk to. I wanted things to interact with. You get a little bit of that from Ada in the beginning, and then it's just like the moment you accept the quest, it's pretty much over until you get to the Mechanist, and that's very anticlimactic. So everything in between is just standard Fallout filler, which I'm fine with as long as I'm filling it up with some story in between, which doesn't happen. All the customization stuff is worth it. If you're a Fallout fan, absolutely worth it in the sense of tinkering, adding more content to your game. But if, let's just say there was no more Fallout content coming around the corner, and this was the last of it, I wouldn't say pick it up at all, because if you're done with Fallout, you're done with Fallout, and there's no sense of adding more stuff to your game. And that's kind of where I'm sitting at right now. There's nothing left for me to do in the game, and for me to add in robots, it doesn't really do much for me. So at this point, I enjoyed it. I have these little robots and stuff, but they're just kind of like there now, and I'm turning the game off and closing it to never be seen until I play it next. But when I play it next, I'll be glad it's there. I'll like the robots that I made. I'll like the little features that I have. And overall, I like that adding more to my immersion, adding more to my world, and that kind of thing. So for me, it was average, but worth it as a Fallout fan. We're Fallout fans, and we just want more content and I enjoyed going back to Fallout, even if it was just 4 hours. So that's my opinion on the Fallout 4 DLC, everybody. I'm Johnny5 Alive. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. What's going on, my fellow gamers? Johnny5 Alive here, and we are going to check out the Automatron DLC for Fallout 4. It's been so long since I played. It's Johnny5 Alive. We did it. Johnny 5, he's alive. Johnny 5.